Hey guys, welcome to Foreplay Podcast, a safe space for all things sex. Remember, if you're ready for sex, you're ready to talk about it.
Welcome to another motherfucking episode of Foreplay Podcast.
Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, Mercury's out of retrograde, bitches!
I'm Emily.
Maddie.
Gee.
Instead of what's new, what are you done with that came with this retrograde? You know what I mean? Like, what are we really? Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Oh.
A plus.
Can I go?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I feel like the past year, maybe even like more than that, I've kind of been, what would the right word be? Putting up with stuff? Not standing up.
Settling?
Settling. Thank you.
Settling.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm honestly fucking done with it. I have goals now.
Mhm.
I know what the fuck I want out of my life, and I'm sick of just waiting around for it to happen.
Yes.
I'm motivated. I still do want to die, but I am motivated.
Mhm.
I'm excited for the future. I feel the most artistic and creative I have in many, many years. I started drawing again for school, but I started drawing again. I started dipping into my spirituality again, doing tarot readings, speaking my crystals, just I lit incense for the first time in months yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like I'm blossoming.
Oh,
yeah,
Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch found herself again.
Yes.
That
I
is incredible.
It
love
took
it.
a while, but happy to be here most of the time.
Which is all we can ask for.
This
Truly.
is true.
But
This
I'm
is
happy to see. I'm happy to see it.
Okay, my retrograde. Okay, so I have anxiety disorder, and this whole week felt no anxiety. It just switched right into depression, which was honestly really nice because I wasn't panicking every single day. It was just like numbness for like an entire week. So I think the only thing is that getting out of it, I don't want to have such like negative thoughts about myself or like what I'm doing. Because on regular, not retrograde times, I'm pretty like confident in like my stream of life and like where I'm going. But like I just let this week like cloud my shit and I'm over it. Like that's, leave it alone.
Sayonara.
Yeah.
Out of here.
We're
Yeah.
done with that shit.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing, letting shit go.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what about you guys?
Well, I'm letting go of the fact that I repeat that I'm stupid, dumb, my like literacy. And honestly, because I have to speak for a living and it's so fucking annoying repeating these things in my head. And it like, and I'm having to like mentally fight with myself every time I open my goddamn mouth. And I have to do that all day long for work. So I'm letting that go because I'm smart.
Yeah, you are smart.
And-
Smart
Yeah,
as hell.
and people want to listen to you.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mhm.
Which is a gift. Not a lot of people want to listen to a lot of people.
It's very true. It's very true.
You inspire a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I just want to take this non-retrograde, just this normal life that we get to live for however pocket of time. But yeah, just to appreciate that and just work on the things that I want to work on without this like negative gloom inside my head. Just like constantly as I'm talking, be like, oh, you sound really stupid. And it's like, yeah. And it's just this constant battle that I'm ready to let the fuck go. I don't want it anymore. I'm ready to sayonara.
Yeah.
Sayonara.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I feel like that's very reminiscent of what retrograde is supposed to be for the most part. Is like inner demons, dialogue, things from your past, like those things that sometimes you could just kind of have subsided beside you. They really rear their head and force you to look at them and deal with them and like take them head on. But for me, it was like imposter syndrome for sure, and also just facing the ways that I fall short as like a person, specifically at work. So that was like really, really hard because coming into like a new role and not performing the way that I want to all the time is like really fucking stressful. And like it's those voices like you're stupid, you're dumb, you literally don't belong here.
Yeah.
You're just gonna ruin it for yourself. And
Yeah.
you're gonna be like back where you started, and like because I like my job, but
It's true.
literally last day of retrograde, I got a compliment at work, and I was like, thank fucking God. And I need that like self-worth to be able to push me to like work hard when I need to, because I can't just like self-sabotage things. Saying that while I don't have my notes today for the pod, but
we're trying.
That's okay. We're pushing through.
I feel like, you can obviously tell I feel really guilty about it. I brought it up like 4 times, like fuck. But anyways, but taking that and kind of rolling with it a little bit more and staring at those bad things and being like, okay, this may be true. This is definitely not true. So let's like work with what we can and move forward. Not absolve myself of responsibility, but just like take the good with the bad and like just be confident. I have self-worth. I'm in the place where I am with friends, family, work, everything, because I deserve it and I deserve to be happy and
you deserve to succeed.
Yeah, which is like crazy.
Crazy.
So like that, and just go to therapy. Like that's what I'm taking with me.
Yep, on the nose.
Yeah.
And also fuck yeah for loving your job.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
and
weird.
Being good at your job.
Good. I don't know yet, but
yeah, you are.
But it's okay. And another thing that happened, which is we're kind of going out of pocket here, but speaking of off pod, you said out of pocket the other day, and I have been hearing it everywhere since. And I don't say that phrase, so for me to say it, it came from you.
I love that.
But
Trendsetter.
well, trendsetter, Jerry knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, that's why I know.
Out of pocket, but I in my workplace setting, you really have no idea how other people are doing, other than like you can look up what is called the scorecard. But this person showed me their result of something compared to my result of something, and my result was really bad, but theirs was worse than mine. And we're at the same, like we started at the same time. So I was like, thank fucking God you're struggling too, because at least I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Wow.
That's good. I'm glad.
Nice.
So goodbye, retrograde. On to happier things.
Yeah.
Don't come back.
Please just give us some air.
Just a little bit.
Before you suffocate us again.
Yeah.
You can come back maybe like in the new year.
Yeah.
We're gonna go home and see like on Instagram or like the pattern or some shit.
Yeah.
4 days, the retrograde.
No, I won't make it. I won't survive this time.
It's time for
Ooey gooey, sticky icky, dirty nasty, center of it all.
You're rubbing your nipples in the end of that.
And we have a guest.
We have a guest, so that's absolutely fantastic.
We're so excited.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Hey, Maddie.
Yes, it has.
I'm saying that 'cause you said it
I told
earlier.
you knew what I was gonna say.
Everybody, this is Vincent. Vincent, introduce yourself. Woo.
Hi, I'm Vincent. I made them all do a second take because I had like my job and my name for a second, and I was like, "Fuck! Like we're not doing this."
Yeah, they can't know I'm here.
No. And I moonlight. Also, like that's not the job I'm concerned about. That's why that's here. I moonlight as a drag performer in Edmonton named God, and that's what I'm all about.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into drag?
Oh gosh, I got into drag, like, I don't know, I guess like everybody who got into drag after like 2016, which was like watching RuPaul's Drag Race and being like, I can do that, that's funny, I can definitely do that. Like, you can definitely, I'll say, you can start now and still do old Drag Race. There is no catching up to new Drag Race unless you're like a trust fund kid or like you're one of those people who's really good at schmoozing with like designers, like,
Fair.
but yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, I could do that bullshit. And then I just found it was a really funny way to be just like funny and provocative and like mainly I just like to provoke people.
We love that.
Yeah, and like especially straight people, like it really like pisses them off. Like still, like you would think like it's so mainstream, but like they get like mad, so it's fun. Yeah.
Oh
Casually putting your life on the line. We love to see it.
Literally. So how many years have you been doing it?
Oh geez, I guess. It's 3 years as of last week.
Congratulations!
Like, yeah, it's been a funny 3 years. I was really lucky. I got to like work a lot through the pandemic on like online stuff and on in-person stuff, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, with like obviously with Gemini and with A Gotta Go, like I got to like just work on a lot of things and stay busy. But
That's
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
been a whirlwind of 3 years. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but it's so much fun.
Honestly, none of us do, but that's
No.
fantastic.
That's so awesome.
Just as the last question there, what is your favorite thing about drag, other than pissing off straight people?
Straight people, geez. Oh God, I guess it like sounds kind of corny, but like sort of the community a
Yeah.
bit. Like that's what's been really exciting is like meeting everybody. But no, I think the money actually.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
Yeah.
like say on camera, but like it's obscene how much money you can make. Like if you hustle as a drag queen, like or a drag performer, really. Like it's. Like, I'm never putting that shit on my taxes. I could win Drag Race and be
Yeah.
like, I don't know where that 100K came from.
I know, straight the fuck up.
Question. Okay, so on your best night, how much, if you're willing to share, how much have you made?
It like depends on the event.
Okay.
But like I'd say brunch is really, really big. Myself off of 2 brunch seatings with tips, it was like over $700, and that's off of like door and tips.
Shit!
Which is like pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I know plenty of queens who have done a brunch and like cleared $1,000, no problem.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
you can really collect. Yeah, like about that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like
Nice.
it's fun, but like obviously you can't get like a crazy super busy brunch every week. But they're good. They pay the bills. Really, like it's like honest. Like you book somebody in that when you like love them and you're like, I need you to pay rent this month.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like, do the show.
In that, okay, so how long does it take you to usually get ready?
Ooh, good question.
It used to take like forever because like I would be like, oh, I really care. I'm just not an artistic person, and so I've never like been like, oh, I'm really gonna like make a fucking like Van Gogh on my face. But nowadays, because I super speed it up, like 90 minutes. Like
shit.
if I'm trying a little bit harder, like 2 hours, but like 90 minutes top to bottom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's
Yeah.
worth that $700.
Yeah,
though.
right?
Yeah, that's how I feel because I'm
Yeah.
sort of like you don't get paid for getting ready.
Mhm.
Like you don't get paid for any of that. So I'm like I really try to like drive up my hourly wage as high as possible to like
Yeah.
justify it to myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
love to
yeah.
see that.
Wow.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
It's been a
that's so
pleasure
cool.
getting to know you.
Seriously.
Thank you for asking.
Of course. Okay, so today we're going to talk about STDs and STIs and kind of focus on stigma and just like some things we may not know. Just out of curiosity, and of course only if you're comfortable sharing, but have STDs, STIs, or the stigma around them, have they impacted you personally? I'm just curious. I would say not directly to me, yes, but yes, I've been impacted by it by having to like just see people that I love be affected by things like that and watch their journey. So me personally, yeah. But who's
For
next?
me, not personally, other than like the like shame I used to get, and honestly still do whenever I have cold sores. And I remember it's like sometimes I'll have 4 cold sores, and it's just like this like shame and embarrassment of having them. And yeah, so that's the only kind of contact I've had with that surrounding it. And then otherwise just the people around me and trying to support them and know that and just create a safe space to talk about it and for them to feel heard and seen and valued.
Try and be
That's
that
all.
person.
That's all you can do, really.
Yeah.
It's true.
Honestly, I've never really had any experience with STIs or STDs. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a pretty gross bitch. I don't really use condoms. Never heard of her. So yeah, the thought never really crossed my mind. Probably should have gotten tested more throughout high school, but I didn't. So yeah, I wouldn't say it ever really like crossed my mind. If I'm being honest, it never was something that I was worried about or impact me. And I've never known someone who had an STD or an STI. So
That you know of.
that I know. It's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
It's
Tell the
true.
truth.
Yeah.
For me, I've been tested after seeing every single new partner that I've ever had, which is
So
responsible.
responsible.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you
Also
should,
'cause I'm scared. Yeah.
Listen, I know.
But I think the only way it like personally impacts me is I think like if I did get an STI, I just know I'd feel like so gross and like so bad about myself, and I know that's something you shouldn't feel, and like I hope to like someone listening doesn't feel that way. I know like we all probably just deep down in our deep holes feel like shit, but it's okay, you know.
Yeah, there is a lot of shame surrounding like STDs because there's just not enough information that we're told from a young age. Like, how are we supposed to know how to handle them, where to get that information from, like what to do if we get them? Like,
It's true.
I never learned that.
And it's important to talk about because so many people have had an STI, have STDs, and it's the shame and stigma that we continue to perpetuate by not talking about it, because we need to normalize it, because people in our trusted circles have these and feel too ashamed to tell their people, you know, like,
no, seriously.
And it should be okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Vincent?
Yeah.
If you're comfortable sharing.
Well, I've been really, I've been lucky to like, at least like in the people that I've known, we've always been like really, really open when we talk about like STDs and STIs. But that's because like, it's because of shit that I did in school and the friends that I made. We were all like, oh, like we all like did these stupid workshops. So we really like had it like drilled into us. Like, I'd say the biggest thing is that there are people who still like aren't open about it, and people who are really afraid to go and get I think there's a lot of fear behind STIs, and I think that there's a lot of like, oh, I don't want to, like, I think for some people they're just like afraid to find out that they have one, and like it's not a big deal if you do or if you don't. Like, I've like, you know, I've been really lucky that I don't, but like not that I know of, but like I haven't been tested in a while, but I've been practicing safe sex, so I'm like, well, you know, that's fine.
We convince ourselves, you know.
I should go and get tested, so that this is my little like mea culpa that I'm gonna go get tested. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's
you know, that's what happens when you smoke weed on a podcast.
Been there.
I think that I've been lucky that the people around me, like we make it a value, as you guys have, to like reduce stigma around it, and like, you know, sometimes I slip up. Like the term clean, I hate, like, but the term clean is still a term that I think pops up from time to time, and it's like, gotta be really careful, because like it's really like it's not dirty at all to like have like an STD or an STI. And like, I know plenty of people who have had like one or more, or like have had plenty of like contact or like scares otherwise. And it's just like, if we're gonna be living in this like fun, open love, like sexually, like extremely sexually liberated and sex positive movement, then we need to like recognize like this is the stuff that comes with it. It's not a big deal. It's like, we don't stigmatize like knee injuries from like hockey or football or something, you know, because that's like an occupational hazard. Like STDs and STIs are an occupational hazard.
Wow, that was
one.
such a fantastic way to put that. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Oh, thank you. It's like, seriously, blame the pod. I'm so sorry.
We love to see it. We really do. I love how we caught the lighter noise too. I'm so happy.
Sorry, like that's like, I'm mainly apologizing for the lighter, because I hate the way it goes like on the track.
Honestly, I'm okay with it. We need a little bit of spice in our lives, okay?
I'm changing the podcast.
Okay, next question. So I want to kind of go around. We admitted whether we're impacted, and I think we kind of segued into my next question. And I think, G, you did that also fantastically. But how do you participate in stigma around STDs and STIs? This one's like a harder question where you have to look a little bit more internally. But for me personally, again, I'll still laugh. But I think it's that I think that I'm, you know, this person who is like so like liberal and progressive and is like a beacon of sex positivity, but I don't know a lot about STDs and STIs, and that in itself is kind of a privilege, because I have been like lucky, whatever that means, to just continue living my life normally, not having to disclose things to partners or worry about like self-worth after like contracting something, or you know what I mean? Like I've just been able to be a little bit ignorant. So that's kind of me, and that's kind of the reason for the episode again. So thanks for helping me get to the bottom of that. But anyone else?
I think, just taking on the like ignorant point, because that is completely me. And I think definitely talking about it more and going forward, how do we have more conversations surrounding it? Because even we were talking about like the syphilis outbreak, like STIs, people are getting them, you know?
People are getting them.
And, you know, these people are going to get them because it's having that like sexual freedom and sexual fluidity with all of these different people. Well, we need to practice safe sex. And what does that look like? And also, how do we respect that other person, especially for having multiple partners? And definitely not having those conversations is
Currently,
you know, like other than like literally that condom that I was talking about the other day. That was like I had to
Tell me about this condom.
Yeah.
please,
Okay.
yeah.
So me and this guy were having sex. We talked about have we gotten tested, and we had that chat. But then we lost the condom. So he's fucking me. He comes, condom. And then we're like looking around. We're looking under the bed. Where'd the condom go? Looking under the sheets. We're like, we'll find it in the morning. Then his fingers enter me again. He's like, you know, going around. He's like, I can see it in his eyes. He's like he's been taken away, you know? And he fishes this condom out of me. And at that point too, okay, that conversation now really needs to happen because the condom's inside me.
Yeah.
There is a naked dick inside me.
Yeah.
So,
And sorry,
nope, that was it.
there's just two things that popped into my head while you were saying that. Sexual health is also a question of accessibility, which I think is super important. And we are really lucky to have access to all of the things that we would need to have access to kind of continue participating in safe sex. But also, there's some, like, the question of have you been tested and this and that sometimes isn't enough. And that's scary because there are people who are either like too ashamed or unaware or don't care, I guess, or like are willing to like cross that boundary to participate in unprotected sex, and you really change the trajectory of your life for a little bit. But those are just thoughts.
It's me.
It's me. What do you mean?
I've just never been good at like asking partners or like, well, in my adult life, because I've been with the same partner and now partners, so it's not been a huge thing that I've had to deal with over and over again.
Yeah.
But as a youth, I never cared about it. I didn't give a flying fuckaroony. Just put your dick in me.
See, or maybe you didn't. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But I was ignorant. Like you said, I didn't care. Getting tested didn't even cross my mind. I was like, I don't need to do that. Like, again, like I'm clean. That word again. And it's just like, it's just an ignorant and a naive way of thinking that I think needs to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
you were young. Like, for the record, like, and for the fucking, like, unprotected is something you should do while you're young because everybody isn't fucking around quite yet.
Yeah,
like,
It's
true.
Everyone's fresh.
So,
This is true.
yes, I mean not to encourage or not encourage.
You're like, have unprotected sex.
I feel weird about the like protected versus unprotected sex thing, but I don't want to step over UG, so I want you to answer the question, and then I'll step in. Sorry.
No.
I don't have much other than like I personally have just been tested, but I'm also just a hypochondriac, so like comes with that. But I don't know. I just personally, when it comes to STDs, like I never had like a comfortable conversation with anyone. It was always like, you're gonna get pregnant and die, and that was that was it. So I definitely like if that was more encouraged, I'd be like way more confident to have better conversations with partners about STDs as well. Like, because I think I do get insecure about being like, are you clean? Like, are you tested? When it should be totally fine. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like important to like to ask for like test results one way or another. Like, I mean, I think like verbal confirmation is fine, but like like Jada, as you pointed out, like that's sort of a lot of people are willing to cross like verbal confirmation bound. Like people are like willing to lie to fuck, you know? And,
yeah,
like,
it's true. It's true.
Like there's a difference between like little white lies, like my job is better than it is, and, and like you know. Although I guess we can talk about that, but like as opposed to like you know harmful like lies that I would constitute as like assault kind of like I like you know I say kind of, but like I think like you know full stop. But I think like you know a fun thing to do is to ask people to like show the receipts. And Show me a fucking photo of it. Like it's like every time I've had one, I'm taking a photo of it because I'm like, this is just really good proof to have. You know, like
Free vaccine passport.
Yeah.
Free vaccine passport.
Really, it's a fucking passport.
Yeah.
Like give me a break. And now you've got to ask about vaccination status too.
Oh,
You
God.
got all the receipts.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna send you a list of questions, fill them out, send
Yeah.
me proof.
It's
Thanks.
literally an interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone else is like horny chatting, and I'm just like, okay, like I've just like got like the questionnaire. Like I can tell
Yeah.
that like we don't need to chat. Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
But
answer
yeah.
these for me, and then I'll give you my address.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is important to note, like, you having an STD or an STI and not having that conversation with your partner is a form of,
Disclosure.
disclosing that is a form of assault.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Big time.
Yeah, and like I mean, and I think there's also like something to say for like ignorance about it. Like I mean, like you can be like so confident that you haven't contracted any
Yeah.
STIs, that you're not contagious with anything, you know, because some things come and go and you have them for life.
Yeah.
But like, you know, even lying about that is something that I don't like. Like, I mean, I think that it's really fine to just be like, hey, like, I actually don't know my status, so like,
Yeah.
I don't know, put a fucking condom on. It's
Yeah.
just really like mind blowing to me that people are just like, just throwing on like for old time's sake.
Yeah,
And we'll get
just for
tested
fun.
together. It's such a cute
Yeah.
little date because
Yeah,
it takes
it
forever. It takes forever.
Yeah.
And now you gotta book your appointment.
Yeah.
Can't-
They're doing walk-ins?
The runaround.
Not a
Appointment.
lot of places are doing walk-ins.
Because of COVID.
But
I
they
know,
give
I know my
you.
girls at the downtown are doing walk-ins.
Nice.
Oh, okay,
They
go
can't
downtown.
remove that accessibility. Like, it's not for me. It's for like other people.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take advantage of the walk-ins.
Yeah. literally.
I love that. Amazing.
Okay. So a follow-up question, which actually I don't think I asked you the question, so I'm so sorry. How do you think you participate in perpetuating the stigma surrounding STDs and
Oh my
STIs?
god! Oh, I totally thought I dodged it. I was like, I'm an unproblematic babe. Sorry. Same ways as everybody else. I think especially like being like a queer dude, guy person, like has been like, you know, like really like ever since I was a kid, like and like, you know, feminine and like faggy or like whatever. Like like the idea of HIV and AIDS is just been so like linked like specifically with like gay dudes and men, you know, and like that's not where it exactly is. Like the face of HIV and like who actually has it in our community like really, really varies. And like that's not to like be like take the spotlight off of us. That's like we need to highlight the communities that have the most. They're the ones who are in need of the most like outreach and antiretrovirals and medication and yada yada. But yeah, I think like, you know, part of the stigma is just being like one afraid of like, especially like HIV and AIDS was like being afraid of it, like shaming people who had it. Like, I was lucky where like there was a kid who had HIV, like a little kid, like who was 7 years old when I was like 9 or maybe 10 in elementary school. And like, they like, we got like the really early, like woke talking to, like that's shocking that I got this like from a young age that was like, it can't be passed this way. It can't be passed this way. Like these people are like safe people to be around. Like with medication, you can lead a long life, especially as a child. But you know, but at the end of the day, you're still really, really scared of it. And there was like, especially, I think until 5 or 6 years ago, I think people just felt comfortable to like stigmatize people for it or shame people for it or, you know, just like not like joke about it in really nasty ways. Like, and like I would joke about it too. Like you would joke that you wanted somebody to get AIDS, you know what I mean? Which is like so silly and awful to say. Like, you know, what a terrible thing. But yeah. Oh God, I really went in there. Sorry. That's
No,
I
that's
love it.
That's
fantastic.
how I perpetuated stigma.
Yeah.
And not to just be like, hey, tell the gay guy to tell us about HIV and AIDS, but you had a lot of words there that sounded like there was some substance there. So if you wanted to tell us more about it, you're more than welcome to. Just like you talked about,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
there was a name that you had for medication, and I can't think of it now, but I wanted to know about it.
Were you talking about PrEP or antiretrovirals?
Antiretroviral, that was the one I was unfamiliar with.
Yeah. So those are like ARVs, and like, fuck, I wish I knew more. Like, but basically, they are a type of medication that you have when you like have the HIV virus. I believe, yeah, antiretroviral therapy. Sorry, I'm like really trying to like skim Google to like unlock the.
No, that's perfect.
I have in my brain. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so basically, like, what happens is like they basically like bring down, as far as I know, similarly to PrEP, but not in the same way. Like, but they bring down like HIV reproduction, and they bring down what's called like your viral load, like in your cells. And what that means is like, oh, so this is really exciting. Oh, I get to share like my favorite part. So with this medication, what's happening right now is like these antiretrovirals. So basically, yeah, they keep like the HIV virus like at bay more or less in your blood, like to really, really minimal amounts. They're like bringing down viral loads to the point that you can like have unprotected sex and like not transmit the virus, like not like at all, but like a extremely high confidence rate, higher than the COVID vaccines. Because for the record, they promised us really good shit, and like shit's so wrong. Like I just want to point that out. Like this is like actually like very effective. And so there's this new term that we use, which is U equals U. And it's undetectable is untransmittable, which you guys may have heard that term before. But it's like, yeah, it just means that this medication can bring your viral load down enough that you never have to worry about transmitting the virus. And like, and if your partner is taking like these extra medications, then it's like fucking with like birth control condom, partner on top. I'm trying to think of like all the ways to like not have a baby. It's like doing all of that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I would definitely say like antiretrovirals and PrEP are like the things that people should talk about. That's probably the best way to reduce HIV and AIDS stigma is to like point out that like these people are leading like happy, normal, and long lives because of like advances that we've made in medicine. And like all we have to do is just encourage everybody to get tested for it.
Yeah.
That's
Yay,
so
that made me
interesting.
so happy.
Yeah.
Like the
Sorry,
smile on my face. I was like,
go off on all that.
no, I love it. I absolutely love it. It brings me to just, I guess, like how we met. But I was watching a drag show at Evolution, and God was performing, and it was fantastic. You looked amazing, by the way. The dress with the balloons was so fun, and your second outfit was like very neon. It was just like, it was, yeah, I was in love with it. I wish you guys were there. You guys would have loved it. So we got to come support one day. But during your number, you talked about PrEP, which was really, really fucking cool. So if you want to tell us a little bit more about that, that would be fantastic.
I would love to. This number, so it's really, really funny. So the reason that like I feel so, I guess, confident in like imparting this knowledge about HIV and AIDS and like and STIs and stigma and antiretrovirals and PrEP and yada yada is because I went to a workshop that was put on by EMHC, Peer and Peer, and HIV Edmonton. Yes?
What is the first acronym that you said?
For sure. So EMHC is the Edmonton Men's Health Collective.
Cool.
So they're like an inclusive health collective that's like focused on like queer and trans men's health and like getting them resources. And then Peer and Peer is like provides like safer sex and drug use and like harm reduction stuff for like queer people, because like we're vulnerable and like we do lots of drugs. And HIV Edmonton is like a local like HIV advocacy and like fundraising group. And yeah, they put on this workshop for the queens, and then they said, and they gave us an honorarium, and like if you ever want me to like do things, like just give me an honourarium. I'll be your bitch. I'll do anything.
I love
And they just kept dangling checks in front of us. So we like went to the workshop, and then we went to the photo shoot, and then we went, and they were like, we want you to do like a health drag show. And this was all in 2020. This was like, and 2019. Yeah, it was like late 2019, early 2020. And we planned this big sexual health show where each of us got like a topic, and I was given PrEP, and I was like, awesome, I'm just going to read the bullet points like in the middle of Charlie XCX song.
Yeah, literally.
And then the show got canceled because of COVID.
Yeah.
But they gave us the money anyway.
Good.
And I had not started work on the number back when the show was canceled, because the show was canceled like 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And then they gave us money anyway, which is really nice. But then around August, they came fucking knocking, and they said, hey, remember that show that we paid you for? Like, we're here to collect. And so we did this like private show that was broadcast on the internet from Evolution. And that's where I did PrEP for you. And I was like, I'm going to read the bullet points of like PrEP, which is that, oh God, I used to know this by heart. But yeah, that it's basically like, it's a medication that you can take consistently and daily that can prevent HIV transmission by like 92% or something. It can stop replication of the HIV virus in your CD4 cells, but it's not an antiretroviral. And basically, like, it's a drug that if we're all taking and we're all getting tested regularly, like, will literally end HIV and AIDS, which is so cool. Like, I mean, just because we've ended the stigma, which is really, really nice. Or not like, oh, sorry, we haven't ended the stigma, I should say, but like, we're working on ending the stigma, which is really nice. But I think that, like, we can go a step further beyond being like, hey, like, don't be ashamed to have this virus. Like, we can also very easily like stop the shame and then eradicate the virus because no one's afraid of it or ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then long story short, I wanted to do that number again for the Hyperpop show because I didn't have any ideas. I like Charlie XCX. And I knew people would like the PrEP message. I think the PrEP message is a good message to put out there. And we're really lucky where this group, Freddie, who, if you don't know, Freddie, you don't have to give me any money for this time. But they're called like GoFreddie.com, and they're like they're just a group that gets you free PrEP if you're in Alberta.
Wow.
And they're really, really, they'll figure it's free. Don't even worry about it. Because that's the issue, is it can be a lot of money and it can be expensive. But with groups like that, they're making it free. And they sponsor some of our drag shows. So we have to give the PrEP speech every month. We're like so excited to.
We love Freddie.
That's awesome. I love Freddie.
I actually, when I was looking at different STD and STI clinics in Edmonton, I went to this. Oh, can you see it?
Oh, God.
Freddie.
Yes, Freddie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, GoFreddie.com. And they have, a bunch of just really good information. But I haven't looked at all of the rest. So that's super cool.
Wow.
That's super cool.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you guys for letting me monologue about HIV.
Of course.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, thank you for sharing, because a lot of that stuff I had no sweet clue
Same.
about. So that's awesome.
Wow.
That's super
Hey, it's fun. It's fun to learn this shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should come to some of these where they'll pay you $50 to sit in there and learn this stuff.
Honestly,
Yeah.
literally.
We'll be there.
We really will. So we're gonna play a little game of myth versus fact. Everyone go, yay! Okay, Maddie, you're up.
Hi, I'm your host, and I don't know what I'm talking about. So the first myth or fact, I'm going to turn my camera so Jada can't see it.
Okay.
If you or your partner have an STD, you'll have symptoms or signs. And then, the second one, many STDs have no warning signs at all or only mild symptoms.
This first one is a myth.
Correct. So, so there's a lot of STDs that have no warning signs at all. This is especially true for women, or I guess people who have vulvas. In addition, some types of STDs may present symptoms that come and go. Regardless of whether you're experiencing symptoms from an STD, it can still be transmitted to your partner during sexual activity. And it is imperative that you schedule a simple STD test, regardless of if you have symptoms or not.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love to see it.
Next one.
I'm ready.
Give us a good one.
Oh, God. Are you okay?
Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
Okay.
Who are you asking?
Oh, I was just asking the crowd.
Pick someone, otherwise I'll blurt it out.
No, I can't. Just,
Okay.
Just.
We'll vote.
Okay, sorry.
No. Okay. Okay. STDs can be transmitted from a toilet seat.
Who's answering?
No, wait, I can.
Oh, okay. See, I always think you're just doing one and we're guessing.
No, because there's the myth or the fact. I have both.
But I think I think we guess and then you tell us the real answer. So I'm gonna guess myth. I'm gonna guess myth on this one because you haven't told us the fact yet.
Yes, it's a myth. Most STDs are only transmitted through, I hate this word, vaginal, anal, or oral sex.
Vaginal.
It's so racist.
You with words.
I read it vaginal though. I read it that way.
It's true.
Vaginal. Pardon me. I'm illiterate.
No, you can read.
Okay. Get him.
Okay, if you are a woman, you may also spread your STD to your baby if you're pregnant. Childbirth or breastfeeding. Yep, that's the end of the sentence.
Okay, who's guessing?
No, that's just the
This is
fact.
like so like shady to
Right?
like women like
Yeah.
like people with vaginas, but like they're being mean to like you can give it to your baby like
Yeah, don't be a whore. Like,
I mean, but you can.
it's true, yeah.
Big
Syphilis.
Okay.
You're like, ding, ding, ding.
Syphilis.
Yeah, so herpes can additionally be transmitted through kissing. We already know that. Hepatitis B, syphilis, and the AIDS virus can spread with the sharing of needles, hugs.
It said hugs?
Hugs.
Are we sure about this source? Are we sure about this?
Baptist like HIV and AIDS like
Literally, are we sure?
It's literally an OBGYN.
This is like in a sex ed class with kids. It's like you can get it if you hug somebody, if you kiss somebody, and you will die.
Yes.
That sounds like a
maybe
really.
depends on like the nature of the hugging.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can hug like because that's not penetrative, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's just
it's true.
That would have to
Naked
be
hug.
one
Hugs.
sloppy hug.
Oh! It was the end of a sentence and the start of a new one. That's why. Okay, hugs, toilet seats, towels, and telephones are not means of transmission.
Oh yeah!
Oh god.
So the hugging is safe.
Hugs.
Oh,
Okay.
thank goodness. I'm so sorry.
I'm
Oh my God.
I'm sweating.
Okay, ask the next one.
Okay. If you have an STD once, you cannot get it again.
That's
Myth or fact?
Myth.
I think it's a myth.
It is myth.
Nice.
There's a pattern here.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, I love you.
Hepatitis B is the only STD that your body can build immunity towards. Otherwise, you can pass the same STD back and forth until you receive proper treatment to eliminate the disease or infection.
So it's a myth and a fact.
Technically, yes. But is hepatitis B an STD?
No, actually,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
This is how we pass multiple choice tests.
Yeah.
Is we have to find a pattern.
Yeah, it's true. Throw the odd C in there.
And that was it.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you very
That
much.
was a literal mess. I cannot read, apparently.
While we're transitioning, I need to ask you about your Yeezus tattoo.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh, I got it like years ago because it's just like a sick logo. Like
Yeah.
I remember my tattoo artist was like, "This looks like the Metallica logo," and it just like unlocked everything for me. And I was like, "It's like Metallica, but like not those guys."
Yeah, but not those guys.
Like I'm a Kanye guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm white, you know. Like I think like he's.
Literally, I'm dead.
He's definitely a funny guy, and by like funny guy, I mean like he has his off days, and like dude like says some silly shit, but like I think actions speak louder than words, and I think like his actions are really like what move me and interest me, and that includes his music. But I do think that he talks out of his ass sometimes. Sorry, I have to like say that as a disclaimer because we're on like a sexual health,
The Kanye
like, we're on a
defense.
we're on a sex podcast, and like Kanye West is like he said disparaging things about like sex people, and by sex people, sex workers,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
and his exes. But yeah, I just love the tattoo. It's aged really well because I feel like everybody hates him so much now that people are like, "Oh, remember Yeezus?" And like
Yeah.
for Zoomers, like that's their like old Kanye.
Yeah.
Like that's like that's what they heard when they were 10. Like I was hearing like the original shit when I was 10.
Yeah,
like, and then for them, they're like, "Yeah, Yeezus, like we bump that shit like at the trampoline park all the time."
No, literally.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. What are we transitioning to, by the way? I'm so sorry. Like,
Okay.
what
Really
what am I
quick,
saying?
we're just going over some STDs and STIs that are undetectable. So this is why you need
Yes.
to go get tested.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be undetectable?
So basically, there's just no signs or symptoms almost at all.
Side note,
Mhm.
when we were picking our topics, we were also talking about having a Zoom meeting with you, and G just slipped in, like, talking about that, and then right underneath she said, "I can do undetectable." So then my blonde ass was like, "Oh, yeah, you can, like, make the voice different and, like, alter the face so, like, nobody knows," and they're all like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I know, I read that. I'm like, Wait, what?
It's a wild place.
Ah,
The
That's
first one.
so fucking funny. Can you pixelate me real quick? Filter on.
We'll just put like a Kanye picture.
Truly.
Oh my god, stop!
Okay, so the first one is HPV, and it says it's the most common sexually transmitted infection, and it's one that condoms can't always protect against. So some strains cause genital warts, but many don't show any physical signs at all. The next one is chlamydia, and chlamydia is one of the most common STIs in women under 25 and is known as the silent infection. So most people don't experience symptoms at all with that one. So you have to go see your OBGYN if you notice it. And then, right, the last one I have is gonorrhea. So it's just kind of similar to chlamydia. You just don't really see many symptoms sometimes. So be
Interesting.
careful out there. Get tested. If something's a little funky, get tested.
I have a COVID question for you, Jade.
Yes.
How many did you I'm hoping that you didn't get COVID-19.
I didn't.
I hate asking that. Okay. How many times did you get a COVID-19 test?
I actually only got tested one time.
Oh.
I know. Otherwise, I just stayed home.
Nice. I never had any close contact tests, but whenever I did a private gig, I'd be like, I'm gonna get tested after before I go see my mom for a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Smart.
It's true.
Sorry, I was just like curious because I was like, they get tested all the time for like STIs. How many
No.
COVID tests?
After I had that first COVID test in the nostril, I was like, I'm good.
I've never been nosed.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
it's
really
so
bad.
bad.
It's not. You don't want to do it again.
Have you guys all been nosed?
Yeah.
One
More
ti-
times than I
One
can
time I
count.
had to get 2 in one test.
2?
No.
2.
They
Both
really
not.
didn't
They
like
did
you.
the normal one and then the rapid one. And the guy's like, "Did I make you cry?" I'm like, "Yeah, you made me fucking cry."
I had to get a rapid test, and she could tell that I was nervous. She's like, "Don't worry," and then she jams it up to my
Don't
brain,
worry.
and then she's like, "Oh, I got some boogers on there."
Fuck you, bitch.
I'm like,
Fucking brain matter on there.
Yeah.
No,
It
literally.
literally-
Testing is not fun. I'm glad to have it hopefully
Mhm.
over with. And I don't have to get tested again soon.
Yeah. Yeah, Jada had to get tested before work every single day.
Yeah, for a long time.
In the nose.
Jeez,
Mhm.
that is hardcore.
It was
Yeah.
not fun.
That is hard.
She was in the little NHL bubble.
I was just like, no. But yeah, and
What
it
did
was,
you do? What were you doing for them? If you
I
don't
was
mind me asking?
serving in a restaurant and we did the NHL bubble. So we got tested every day before work. And then we did the World Juniors bubble. So it was 2. And then I was also sick a lot and just had a lot of tests in my life.
Mhm.
No, this guy I know, Ed. He's like an audio guy, and he was in the NHL bubble. And yeah, it's testing all the time.
Yeah.
And like, did you stay at the hotel or did you go home?
No, I went home, which was I think why we had to get tested every day. I don't know if it made a difference, but our hotel connected to our restaurant housed 5 teams. It was kind of cool, actually. I don't care for hockey, but
it was
cool.
wasn't it?
yeah, hey,
Yeah.
that was
Got a little one of the players.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Okay, so the last thing, my topic was about the syphilis outbreak that is in Alberta. There's a lot of syphilis here.
Mhm.
I feel like there's been a lot of syphilis.
There's been a lot of syphilis, and it's only progressively getting more and more. The good thing about syphilis, though, you just need to get tested.
Mhm.
Just go get tested. If it's caught early, all you have to do is just take some antibiotics.
And it goes away?
Yeah, and it goes away.
Interesting.
Stages.
So really,
See, I know nothing about STDs.
yeah, and this one, so it's just an infection. So if you get tested, it's usually 1 to 2 weeks after. But what it does, it like attacks your T cells, so it's going to lower your immune system. And then, so out of 100,000 people, 24 Canadians have it. So that's like 24% out of 100,000 people. So definitely worth getting tested regularly to avoid.
Cool.
So syphilis is a bacteria. So you have, what are they called? Oh yeah, little ulcers, and the fluid on top of that ulcer is if you come in contact with someone else. So that is where you can give it, contract it. It's that fluid.
scary.
So
It's okay. We don't have to be scared.
yeah,
That's
we
what
don't
we're
have to be
talking
scared of these
Yeah.
things.
Just the word ulcer sounds horrible.
but
Yeah, it might be like a bit of a pain, but like, I mean, people have like IBS.
I have IBS.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, oh God, like, like nothing is worse. Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, I have had like legit pimples with like actual mucus. You know when you like
Oh, no.
no, it's like an ingrown hair.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But do you remember we had the same thing?
She's like, don't compare my skin to yours.
But we had like I'm just selling you out now because I'm going in it too. But
Okay.
there was these like bumps, and I can't remember what they were, but they were
Like
like
chicken skin thing?
was
Like
it
strawberry skin?
What's that?
Never mind. I think we're talking about a different thing.
Okay,
Okay.
but they were like little like bumps and stuff.
Mhm.
But there could be all sorts of things.
All
you
sorts
know?
of things.
So
Yeah.
get tested.
Get tested.
Might not be anything. Might be something that you can treat.
Yeah.
Which is everything. You can treat everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we got a question on our Instagram. So thank you to whoever sent this. We'll keep it anonymous. So they said, so I was fooling around with this guy yesterday, and I hadn't had any physical/sexual contact happen in a while, because single in a pandemic, LOL. Anyways, he was rubbing my clit, felt great, listened to what I wanted really well. Then I wake up this morning and my clit really hurts. So sensitive, like when I use the washroom, when I sit wrong, even when I'm wearing jeans and just walking around. I'm wondering if this has happened to any of you. And I'm looking on Google, but I'm finding no answers. Just want to know what you guys would do about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to speak first because Spectrum Boutique actually posted a Snapchat or an Instagram story about this or something similar. Basically, they were talking about, or someone had asked, can my clit go numb? Or like, is that safe? Like, what do I do if that happens? And they basically said that it's just overstimulation and it might take you a day, maybe even 2 days, maybe even 3 days for it to start to feel normal again. Especially if you're using like a vibrator or something like that, something that has even more power than just like using your fingers, and to just like let your clit rest, give it a little break, wear some breathable underwear, and maybe hold off on the masturbating for a few days. And that's it.
It's like it goes to the meme of the fucking person with a jackhammer on their pussy. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, me. Thanks.
Yes, thank you for that.
I just
Yeah.
want to.
Pat you on the head.
Yeah. What did you think when you read it?
Yeah, my only thought was some people too, like I've had sex with someone and after like felt super wrong, and I think it's just like transfer of bacteria can happen, and sometimes your body just needs to flush it out. So just give it a couple days, and I think it could just be sleeping with a new person or getting touched by someone who maybe didn't wash their hands.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say, did he
happens.
wash his fucking hand? Because I bet you he didn't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so wash your hands.
Right. And like, I don't think specifically your clit is like a mucus membrane or like super like porous, but regardless, you could get a little. What if you had a snaggle tooth?
Oh,
yeah.
What if you had a little cut in there?
Yeah, you
you
could
know?
get a little cut.
Yeah.
You could get a little scratch. There could have been a lot of pressure. I would say get tested anyways because again,
Uh-huh.
that's kind of like the point of bringing
Get
it
tested.
home. But
Yeah.
get tested anyways.
Yeah.
But like it could be totally normal. It could just be sore. You're just beating the pussy out.
Could
You know
even
what I
be
mean?
a yeast infection.
A yeasty.
True.
It literally could be.
Especially if you didn't wash his
Like,
damn
always,
hands.
Like that's how I feel like that's just always that's a good. That's where you end up on the flow chart. Is always just like, well, it might be yeast infection, so check.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Literally
Yeah.
us talking ourselves out of getting tested. It's just yeasty. Oh god.
Well, thank you so much for being
Yes,
on our
thank you.
podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was a blast, and I'm happy that we got to chat about STIs and all that.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me be a teacher, not a teacher, but like an annoying teacher. I should have sat in my chair backwards and been like,
Right.
With your Yeezus.
I should be a teacher now. The kids would go apeshit for it. They would absolutely love it. You can find me on Instagram at GodDragQueen. You can find me if you're wild this Sunday, although I don't know when this is going up, but Sunday, October 24th at the Underground Tap and Grill on Jasper Ave. We're doing a brunch with Lemon as our special guest, like the
Yay.
Lemon from RuPaul's Drag Race, or Canada's Drag Race. RuPaul was not involved.
Yeah, RuPaul made it known.
And then I'm Thursday, October 28th. Oh, that same day I'm in a Superville. I'm booked. I'm too booked. Anyway, sorry,
Booked and
but the
busy.
big important one is Thursday, October 28th at Evolution Wonder Lounge. We are hosting our Tribute Thursday, Agata and I, and we are doing Janet Jackson, and it's called Janet Jack-O-Lantern.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all Janet. I know we've got Janet fans in the house, okay? Like, I'm a big fan personally.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, come to that. And if not, just follow me on Instagram because I over-promote all of my shit. There's no excuse.
Perfect.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are all a treat. And if you come to one of my shows, I'm gonna do a number for you. So like,
Yay.
Yes,
Definitely.
we will be there.
figure
we
it out.
will.
I'll do like some crazy sex talks number.
Hell
Yeah. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes,
and also
thank you.
thanks for letting me randomly ask you to come onto the pod on the street.
Anytime, literally, like if you ask me to do something after a show, I'm always like in a good mood. So, like, you know, like I'll do anything. I'm friendly. Yeah. So yeah, this was a lot of fun actually. I had a ton of fun.
Oh, yay! So glad.
Amazing.
Well,
Yes.
see you guys.
Okay, well,
next time.
toodaloo. And I'll be I'm going to listen to the shit out of the rest of your episodes. Now I'm gonna have to dive into the canon, you know.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh.
Well, until we see you in person, thank you so much.
Bye.